Jelena Ostapenko toying with the crowd as they boo her before each serve, smiling, laughing. But this was no laughing matter. As always, this video is brought to you via the Doctrine of Fair Use, the Fair Dealing, and the Digital Millennium Act. Taking on someone she has not done well against. In fact, these two ladies played recently in Abu Dhabi. That's right, Ons Jabeur taking on Jelena Ostapenko. They played a total of 6 times, with Ons winning 4 of them. Just dominating this matchup with their insane shot-making ability, her ability to stretch the court, and put the pressure on Jelena Ostapenko, who prefers to go down the line with her power. However, ladies and gentlemen, we pick up here in the second set. Jelena Ostapenko, third service game. She would go up 40-love, but in between that stretch of going up 40-love, she could barely get her serve off. That's right. This crowd booing, taunting her. And I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I thought this crowd was very disrespectful and very unprofessional. Now, we've seen some hostile crowds in the past. We can go back 20 years ago. Serena Williams, the French Open, booed. We can go back even a couple years ago at the height of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Svitolina, Sabalenka, some very tough matches. Blinkova. We can go back to Wimbledon a couple years ago. Victoria Azarenka, booed by the Wimbledon crowd. There's been some tough crowds. We understand it. The French crowds have always been tough. But this crowd here, we know Ons during this stretch of the tour, I say it time and time again, she's going to be the most popular player. We know that. We understand that. Everybody loves Ons. But the way this crowd handled themselves today, I felt it was very disrespectful. Jelena literally could not get her serve off. And I felt the chair umpire, I mean, I guess he did what he could, but I would have liked to have heard a few more announcements to the crowd, possibly even get security in the stands. These fans were very disrespectful. Now, for those of you watching thinking that Ons could have intervened, I don't necessarily think so, because all of this took place on Jelena's serve. And the reality here is the chair umpire is the one with the microphone. I would say, though, Jelena Ostapenko handled herself very classy. And some of you are probably thinking, Jelena, classy? Yes, she was very classy today. We can go back to SW19 a few years ago, Isla Tomljanovic, where those two had a heated exchange. It looked like they were nearly about to fight. Isla was not having it. Yeah, she felt that Jelena was faking an injury, stalling time for the inevitable, which would be an Isla win. Look, we've seen the matches, tossing rackets accidentally, should I say accidentally, hitting ball kids, tossing balls at ball kids. We've seen all of this stuff. We can even go back a few years ago. This portion of the tour, Danny Mel and Jelena, they got into it, right? Jelena and Danielle, that match was insane. Danielle's cursing out the chair umpire, the WTA supervisor. She's giving Jelena's mom weird looks. That match was crazy. And let's go back to the Australian Open this year, since we're talking about Danielle and we're talking about hostile crowds against Destiny. Danielle Collins talked about, look, I'm here. I might as well win and get this big fat paycheck so I can have a 5-star vacation. Well, Danielle took that 5-star vacation, and she motioned to the viewers. I would imagine it was directed at the Australian viewers that saw that story that she posted on social media. Kiss my butt. She did it again, ladies and gentlemen. She did it again. Now, was that classy or trashy? I did the video. Go watch it. Here's what we have to understand. If we are in this position, we don't know how we would react. Now, I felt doing the Hulk Hogan, I can't hear you to the crowd when they were booing Danielle Collins. I felt that was appropriate. That was fair game. The kiss my butt, I would say it was probably a more respectful kiss my butt than some of the other ones we've seen with professional athletes. But was it called for is the question. Go watch the video. You can comment on that video. Look, I don't know, because I don't know how I would respond in that situation. I would probably let my game do the talking. And that's what Jelena Ostapenko did today, ladies and gentlemen. I felt she was classy. She handled herself professionally. She smiled. She had all smiles. It doesn't get any better than that. Look, comparing both ladies, Jelena and Danielle, in their recent interactions with hostile crowds, I think Jelena handled herself better than Danielle did in Australia, to be honest with you. But then again, that was a bigger crowd, a bigger stadium. Who knows what Jelena would have did? I thought Jelena smiling and just taking her time on her serve and letting her game do the talking, I thought that was pretty bad right there. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let your game do the talking when you're on the road. This was clear home court advantage. Ons had the home court and she still couldn't convert. Jelena just played too aggressive, too fast, and too strong. And Ons really couldn't get under these shots. When Jelena's playing this way, she's going to beat most ladies on tour, guys. And what do you think? Do you think the crowd was disrespectful? Do you think this was unprofessional, uncalled for? I do. I think it was unacceptable. For crying out loud, she couldn't even get her serve off. I do think the chair umpire now, if the cameraman kept pointing to this crowd here in particular. Look, we've seen it. Osaka, Indian Wells against Kudermetova, they will eject you. You can have the chair umpire call a supervisor, call security, and get these fans kicked out of the stands. I think it's unacceptable. You let these players focus. Tennis is a very, very heavy mental sport. You have to have mental concentration. And I just felt with everything going on, Ons was the one that couldn't get the mental concentration. And Jelena was the one getting booed every time she tried to serve, but she let her game do the talking. Look, extreme mental focus and discipline in this match from Jelena Ostapenko. I like it, at least when we're talking about how the crowd treated her. Because, look, we know Jelena sometimes, she's just not like that. I thought she handled herself well in this match. What do you guys think? I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Comment below. I thought it was fair game, right? I thought you're gonna boo her. Okay, I'll take my time on serve. I'll give you a pump fake. I'll let you boo, but then I'm going to win the point. 4 aces for Jelena Ostapenko. She would win 71% of her first serves. She would win 57% of On's first, 59% of her second serves. And listen, guys, 11 opportunities to break On's. She would convert on 5 of them, and that would be enough for Jelena to get the win here. The head-to-head is now 4-3. She sets up a showdown, a blockbuster showdown with Iga. Big bad Iga. That's going to be good, guys. Get your popcorn. I'm going to cover that match. Now, I've talked about that matchup in the past. As Iga Swiatek gets past Jelena Ostapenko, and listen, we're going to talk about that next. I think Elena's on the decline. I think she's on the decline. Now, when we talk about Grand Slams, the last couple years, all 8 of them, 9 of them, if you want to include this year's Australian Open, Coco's been the most consistent in going deep in these draws, right? We all know Iga dominates the French Open, but outside of that, Coco's been the most consistent of this big 3 next to Sabalenka, because she's done very well as well, right? We know she's got the 2 Australian Open championships. She's got the U.S. Open title. Outside of Sabalenka, Coco's been the most consistent. I feel Jelena Ostapenko at her age, and I'm going to let you guys answer this question. We're going to talk about this more next. Is she going to win another slam? That's a serious question. I think her game's on the decline. I think Iga's finally adjusted to her power, and I talked about how Iga, a year and a half ago, after winning the French Open, she started to change her game plan. She worked on the deep ball, and now she has Wim in her corner, who's just an amazing... Look, is Wim the best coach on tour? I mean, Osaka's with Patrick. Who do you guys have as the best coach on tour right now? I think Wim is going to help make Iga into an amazing shot maker. We're going to talk about that next. I don't want to get too deep into that conversation right now, but I do think Elena's on the decline. And I just think the drama, there's been too much drama off court. It's affecting her. This is now her 3rd coach the last 8 months. What is going on here, ladies and gentlemen? An elite player like that. We're going to get to that in a minute. But Jelena Ostapenko, that showdown with Iga Swiatek, that's going to be amazing. Iga doesn't do well against Ostapenko. That's going to be great. Get your popcorn. But overall, Jelena deals with a hostile crowd booing her, preventing her serve. Ons, just a rough day at the office. We love you, Ons. You'll be back. But Jelena was possessed today, ladies and gentlemen. She was not intimidated by this crowd. She was not disturbed by this crowd. And quite frankly, I think this is one of the best performances we've seen outside of the slams from Jelena Ostapenko. Tennis in a minute. We'll be back.